Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's broadcast. If there's anybody listening in, there's no one in the chats yet. If there's anybody listening in, just letting you know that if you have questions, please hold those off until we were done with the interview, or we can answer them in between questions. But just to let you know, we will be answering questions, but may not be right exactly when you answer them. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce my guest, uh, a young man who has some awesome talent, Mr. Jack Maine.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for having me.
Thank you, Jack, for coming on. I really appreciate your time. Um, well, I'm going to start off interrogating you with a whole slew of questions here, and hopefully, some people will show up in the chat.
I've just messaged Lee. I've said, like, hey, you said you'd remember.
Yeah, he told me that too. He sent me a message saying that.
Well, he's actually stressing out trying to make a cottage pie.
I saw some message on a cottage pie. Hey, there he is. Hello, Lee. How you doing? So, all right.
Hey,
So
Lee.
let's get in. Let's get on this interview here. Um, so I wanted to have you on and ask you about your life and drawing and things like that. And I wanted to ask you questions. The first one here is, how young were you when you started drawing?
Ooh, I would say about 4 years old. I
Wow.
just used to doodle a lot, and my teachers at primary school would pick up on it.
Nice.
And I was rummaging through some old pictures, and I found some primary school ones. And I thought, God, you know, looking back on it, you kind of look at it as that really wasn't as good as I remember it in my head.
Yeah, I can relate. um, so 4 years old. Um, at that time, did somebody inspire you, or was there some specific thing that inspired you at that time to start drawing?
I
Sure.
honestly can't remember. I've never been really what you would call an artist. Like, I never followed artists. I never followed. I loved that there was this show on when I was a kid, Art Attack, but I was drawing before I watched that. But watching that just made me kind of love it even more. But when I was a kid, I was obsessed with dinosaurs. So I think that they were the first things that I was drawing. And yeah, I honestly have no memory of how I got into drawing. Whether it was just something, I don't know, my soul just came into this world and was like, saw a pencil and paper and was like, oh,
Cool. Yeah, you had a disposition for drawing. That's great.
yeah.
Like a natural talent. So when you're doing artwork, when you sit down and to have pencil to paper, what motivating you as an artist to what's your vision when you sit down and you start a piece?
Well, this is the difficult thing, and for me, it all depends the kind of mood that I'm in. But really, what kind of makes me want to draw is that I've got all these things in my head, and I
Yeah.
kind of want to share them with people. And I do that in the best way that I can. And I think my way of communicating that has always been drawing it.
Hmm.
And even though it never comes out on paper quite as well as I'd like it to, I am a perfectionist, and it does affect me massively when it comes to my work. Because I just like, oh, that's just
Yeah,
rubbish. That's,
you're your toughest critic.
yeah. And,
Yeah,
I've just got all this in my head, and I want to share it, but I just find myself missing the mark every time. And yeah, in terms of inspiration, really, I would say a combination of films that I've watched and things that I love in general, but mostly it's just kind of like my own imagination that makes me draw it.
hmm that's
And it's
cool. Yeah, you have to
how
have
it came.
a very vivid imagination and a love for something, to express it. What you see in your mind, put that on pen and with pencil and paper, using your hand and your eye to with your mind's eye, putting that out and fleshing it out into the real world.
Mhm.
From a vision to something on paper. Uh, in my opinion, it requires a great amount of talent. There are some people that learn it, and then there's some people that kind of have it, and then they discover it, as they go. Kind of sounds like what you just said, where you just all of a sudden you had a disposition to draw at 4 years old, which is great. Um, so I know you do the pencil art. Is there any other medium that you have worked with or like using? Paint, marker, anything like that?
Mostly, the medium I use is coloring pencils, and I think what makes me love them is the control. I think
Gotcha.
when you have something like paint or
Uh,
pastels, a lot of things can go wrong,
mhm.
unless you're an expert and you understand how the colors mix and how,
Right.
uh, and I think my biggest problem has always been not coming out of my shell a bit. It's
Hmm.
just sticking with what's safe and not
Hmm.
really trying many new things. But I did really enjoy actually using watercolor at one point. But I discovered you've got to have the right kind of paper for that.
Yeah, yeah. There's
Otherwise, it will go horribly wrong. Um,
yes, yeah. There's that.
but like I
Um,
say, it's this constant thing, like battling with your inner perfectionist. And when you make a mistake, you tend to be really overly harsh on that mistake.
yeah, because you're the one that can see it. You
Yeah.
see it. You know it's there. The layman might look at it and not see it forever, but you know it's there. And I experienced that as a custom picture framer. I would take a frame and take someone's art. I did do a lot of frames of pencil art. They use colored pencils only. I think that picture that I sent you, that I showed you that I'd framed a few years back, that's
Mm,
100% color pencil. Um, and yeah, I could see like if there's a flaw in the frame or if something did not go or there's something wrong with it, it might be microscopic or minute. And the person would come in and take a look at it and say, "Oh, that's great." And I'm like, "Are you blind?" you know, there's something there. So I can understand your attention to detail and your toughness on yourself to make it right. You know, make it right or don't make it at all. You know,
mm.
I can understand that. Um, so you mentioned dinosaurs when you were, starting out. Do you have other subject matter that you draw or like to draw besides rabbits?
Well, originally, like I say, it was dinosaurs, although I never draw dinosaurs anymore, like, never, because, in 2005, I saw my very first Doctor Who story,
Hmm.
and that was Dalek,
Hmm.
and then before you know it, it was just sketchbooks full of this strange, uh, pepper pot looking thing, with, like, all these sticks on it and all these circles.
Hmm.
And, yeah, at that point, it was Bye Bye Dinosaurs, and then, like, Doctor Who just kinda took over.
Right.
And then, when I was about 9, I watched the movie, I don't know if you've ever seen it, Watership Down?
I've not seen it, but I've heard of it, and I know it was based on a book.
Yes, and, it's traumatic, let's just put it that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I haven't watched it.
Yeah, brace
So
yourself.
yeah.
But, yeah, that was what started my whole love for rabbits, and, I started doing, like, my own little fan stories and
Hmm.
everything. Uh, yeah, and then, I tend to go through cycles of interest, so once that had passed, I kinda got back into Doctor Who again,
Hmm.
and, I spent, I kid you not, about 4 years of my life, uh, designing a Doctor Who game, like, my
Really?
own kind of Doctor Who game. There's stacks and stacks of drawings somewhere, full of these all of these ideas, and sadly, nothing came of it because the Chris Chibnall era happened.
Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, that put the brakes on my following the the ending of Capaldi.
Yeah.
The writing was just it got so bad that his final season that the wife and I just stopped watching after about not even halfway through the final season because it was just so bad.
Capaldi's.
Yeah. I think that was still Moffat though doing that, right?
Yeah, well, I couldn't
Yeah.
stand Moffat, like, from the start of his era. From the start, there were just issues, but I still was a fan, and I still wanted to make this game,
Right. Well,
you
that's
know,
cool.
but, then I started to get into Watership Down again for some reason because I discovered there was a kids' TV series,
Oh.
and, I was 14 at the time, but I didn't care, I was binge watching it, and, that gave me this whole inspiration to keep drawing rabbits again, and stupidly enough, try and write my own Watership Down and send it to the fella who wrote the original book. Yeah, you starting to see a pattern here.
Uh,
So after
hey,
that,
you're persistent though. That's good.
yeah, well, not anymore, but I'll get onto that. So after that failed, I kind of cycled through this strange thing at the start of college where I didn't really know what I wanted to draw. And then randomly, when I was walking home from my grand's, I came up with this idea: rabbits and sci-fi. Like,
Nice.
what? Why not take the two things that I like and blend them together? And everyone laughed at me. I've had some company executives literally say that what I've done is meaningless and pathetic. So yeah,
That takes a big asshole to say that, my opinion.
yeah, yeah. I've had to deal with it a lot. I've had people like laugh at me and say, "Oh, it's never going to work. It's pretty stupid."
Yeah,
There's a
that's what they
reason.
said to. That's what
Yeah,
they probably said to Matt Parker and Trey Stone. For South Park creators,
yeah,
and they did all their stuff cutouts, and they did stop motion photography or scanned it on a computer. Now look, they're friggin' millionaires.
yeah.
Yeah, anybody starting out is going to hit it rough, and those people like that just step in and say, "Oh, well, this is stupid," or it has no, it doesn't pique their interest, or maybe it does, but they just want to be assholes. Um, no one takes a risk anymore. And I remember there was an interview from Frank Zappa, the great rock legend. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah.
Um, and he was talking about the differences between back in the 1960s, 50s, and 60s music executives from these big labels and music executives of the current era that he was talking, in. I think it was like the 1990s. And he basically said back then, the music executives would take a risk. They said, I don't really understand it, but let's give it a shot. Today, they don't want to take a risk. They don't want to give it a chance because they don't want to chance failure. But if you don't
Mm,
try, you don't know. And that's, you have people who are willing to take a risk. These, big fat cats in the 60s and 50s that smoked cigars and drank heavily, but they would take a chance. Whereas these people now, they're so gun shy, they can't afford to, bruise their ego with something that might not work, but they don't know until you take a chance. And I think what you're doing is great. I think your art is great. I mean, and I think the idea premise, I think that idea is sci-fi and rabbits. Well, why not? You know, why not?
yeah,
Um,
and, I think my biggest problem is what I've always had was, kinda like my own fan fictions of other people's ideas,
mhm,
but then when I had this idea, this was mine.
mhm.
As far as I know, in the Western market anyway, I don't think anything like what I'm doing has been done before. Many people might criticize me and say like, "Oh, well, you've just stolen this, that, and blended it together." But it's like, name one thing that hasn't.
Yeah, exactly. It's copying is a form of flattery. You know,
Mm,
if you do it subtly, it's a compliment. But if you do it, blatantly, then it's plagiarism.
Yeah,
You
Chris
know.
Chibnall ripping off the Green Day.
Yeah, and you see that a lot with um, you see a lot more now than you have in the past. Um, but but that is also a sign of a lack of imagination. You know, a lot of people don't have an imagination. If you look at some of the things that are happening now with some of our franchises, where they're going back and they're doing so many reboots. I mean, how many times can you reboot Spider-Man in 20 years?
I
It's
know.
insane. I mean, why reboot it? Is it because you don't have a clear imagination to come up with something fresh and new?
Mm.
And I've seen that for a long time now. Um, but I digress. I'm driving myself off a point here. Speaking of some of the stuff that you mentioned about rabbits and sci-fi, are there any projects that you can tell us about that you might be currently working on?
Well, once I get my head back in gear, I'm working on a big story. With all this, I've got my own characters done, and I actually do have a children's book which is made at the moment, just ready to send off to publishers, which all takes place in this kind of one big universe.
Nice.
So the characters in the children's book are younger versions of the characters that you'll follow in the big story that I'm writing, which has all the
Oh
sci-fi
wow.
elements in it.
Nice.
Because
Oh, that's
I
cool.
think someone said to me, you're putting immense pressure on yourself. You've got no writing experience. You're dyslexic, and you're trying to write this big, complex novel. Maybe dial it down a bit to start with. So I just made this nice, innocent little children's book, and yeah, I think it's a nice place to start.
Cool. Um, well, I'm sure you can't go. You don't want to go into detail because it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
So I know that you're a doctor. Well, pardon me. Let me back up. I know that you were a Doctor Who fan. Can you tell us about any other franchises that you're a fan of or were a fan of in sci-fi or other?
Um, well, Alien, which is well, I didn't like the most recent film in that franchise, and I'm sure what Disney's going to spew out will be even worse. Predator, Terminator, all franchises that have been murdered.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Hmm.
There's nothing left at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
there's just nothing left. Um, I've tried to get into Star Trek. I did enjoy the original movies like Search for Spock.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's one that I really like. But I just can't get into it. And the thing is, it's too political and it's all adult stuff. To me, it's just a bunch of people walking around a room. You know, I can't. I'm sorry if I've insulted so many Star Trek fans, but
That's all right, my friend.
it's like I say, I actually really like the original series. I remember this really weird episode where they were talking to this god creature that disguised itself as God, and it was trying to invade their universe or something.
Was that in one of the movies?
It may have been, but this is
Yeah,
what
it
I mean.
was.
I only remember those original films, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
quite like them actually, but I never got into any of the Patrick
yeah.
Stewart ones, or and
That
I just
that
laugh
that
at them at the
sounds like
movies.
that was probably the Final Frontier movie,
Yeah.
which was directed by Shatner. I think. Yeah, that was that one, and yeah, that was where we discovered that Spock had a brother,
Mm,
half brother. So yeah, I remember that movie. It was just well, not bad. It wasn't one of the better ones, but it wasn't bad.
mm.
Um, so jumping around here a little bit. Um, so tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel and your goals for your channel, if you don't mind
Well,
me asking.
no, no problem. Well, my YouTube channel, I was kind of at a point. We'd come to the end of lockdown, and I was kind of in a point where I'm just like, just do it. you know, upload a couple of videos and see how it goes. And I was a huge fan of toy review channels.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, but maybe I could add my own kind of thing to it. Like maybe I could implement my artwork somehow, which is why I called it Drawing Jackrabbit,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't make a lot of sense because I hardly ever do any drawing for it, because I know it sounds silly, but I don't have the confidence to have the camera on while I'm drawing. It stresses me out.
Yeah.
Because, it's like if I make one mistake, that's going to bugger the video up. And, it doesn't really work for me, which I'm annoyed about. But reviewing the toys was something I always wanted to give it a try. And the channel who actually inspired me is subscribed to me and has left a comment on one of my videos, which is incredible. And
Cool.
he's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers, so I'm like,
Nice.
he found my little channel somehow. So
That is too freaking cool, dude.
yeah, and
That is cool.
he does acknowledge me whenever I pop in for any of his live videos, so I'm really humbled about that. And
Nice.
yeah, I think needless to say, I've probably spent too much of my student money on action figures. Hey, look, people have
Why
said
not,
at
right?
least it wasn't alcohol or drugs.
There you go. Exactly, right? Exactly. It's a good addiction. So what is your long term and short term? Well, let's reverse that. What's your short term and long term goal for your art and what you're doing?
Well, my short-term goal is to send my book off to a publisher and see if people will like it.
Mm-hmm.
My long-term goal, my number one goal in this life is to do something to be remembered by. And I really want to tell this story, like massively, because when I see it in my head, I just want to see it on the screen, you know. And I think aiming for a film might be a bit too much, but and like I say, unfortunately, I'm dyslexic. I've always struggled to read. I can't keep attentions on books. And oddly enough, I do struggle with comics as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of sucks, really, because I've got all these ideas, but I can't really put them in a medium that fully interests me, if that
You
makes sense.
so in your mind, everything's kind of
Like a
scat
movie.
it's scattered around in your mind instead of being in order.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've had to deal with ADHD, and
I have that. Yeah,
it's kind of the same way. I had a really hard time as a kid reading. Reading was big time hard for me.
yeah,
And I could never, like, if I took tests, like in school, like in primary school, I always sucked. But if I would do great the rest of the year, but when we'd have an exam or something, it would be like a freaking murdering me. I just sweating bullets, and I'd stare at the freaking paper forever, trying to
yeah,
decipher in my head what I'm looking at. And then it, I guess in a stressful situation, as I was young, it was hard for that, stressful. As I've gotten older, I've been able to figure it out and use a stressful situation to my advantage. Actually, stressful situations help me focus better and put everything in order. But yeah, I have a scattered brain. It's like, I know my wife would stab me half the time with a pencil if she had a chance when she's talking to me, because I just like space out. Look at that fly. Oh, it's just
mhm,
it's crazy. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, because I was a framer, I got to see so many types of art, for so long. I got to see like pencil art, like that thing I showed you. I saw people art, they did canvases, oil. I mean, people did watercolors. I hated watercolors because they'd use too much water, and the paper would just get distorted and wavy. You could never frame it so that it wouldn't touch the glass. It was maddening. So I hated to deal with watercolors because of the paper. It'd be like a Ruffles potato chip with all the waves in it, and you could never flatten it out,
yeah,
because you had to use the thicker paper, and then the water would just make it just buckle.
Mm.
and it's like crap. But yeah, it was always intriguing to me the different types of art and people's different visions, whether it's a photographer, um, photography, art, they'd bring in stuff that they did, or it was things. Like I actually mounted a part of a British World War II Spitfire for a couple of guys from the RAF that came to the United States to the military base near here where I live. They were here doing training, and they had brought with them a piece of a World War II RAF plane, a Spitfire, and they were going to give it to the base commander here as a gift for having them here as guests.
Mm.
So that was an interesting one to frame in short notice. I've done other aircraft parts. I've done spent explosives, but here's
Disarm.
well, yeah, spent. I mean, exploded. Uh,
Oh,
just like pieces of fragments of a fireworks show or a missile or something
ah,
that they brought back. It's crazy. But everybody's eye for art is different. Like, you know, it's like you love pencil because it has control. You have control over the pencil. Where there's other people that love to use oil paint. They like the texturing when they're done. Of the oil on canvas. There's other people that like watercolor for whatever reason. I don't know, but other people like ink. They use markers and other things like that, or pastels. Pastels, I never really. The thing, pastels are so delicate if you don't coat them with something,
mm,
because I know that static is not kind to art pieces that are done in pastels that are not coated with a fixative. But yeah, it's artists. There's one thing about the artist that I was intrigued with as a framer, not being an artist myself, but I treated my framing as an art, as an added. I looked at the art this way: do you want the art do you want the frame to match something you have in your home? Like, and then there's a lot of people that are like that, like executives or lawyers or something like that. Oh, they just want a frame for their diploma or whatever to match the office furniture. So they want it in cherry wood or whatever. They don't really care about anything else. Then there's others that are like, they want to get the perfect frame for their piece of art because they want it to showcase that art, or they want it to become a piece of the art. And so I treated my framing of their art and the treatment of their art as if it was mine, because it's my frame that I'm putting on that, and I want to make sure that it's completely. And I nitpicked over frames, finished stuff. I would say, no, we got to do it over again. This sucks, or there's a flaw in the frame. I can't have that. There's a flaw in the glass, or there's a flaw in the mat.
mm,
You can understand that, because as an artist, you can see the flaw, whereas the consumer might not necessarily notice it for quite some time unless you point it out to them. But you see it as soon as you would walk in the room, So I can understand that intense attention to detail and being critical of your own work. And there's a lot of people that, whether it's art or whether it's like people who do sound mixing, just because problems in the chat, because he does a lot of that stuff. But everybody in their own way is a perfectionist. Elliot is in the chat. Mr. Elliot. All right. Hey guys, I'm gonna do a real quick. I'm gonna pull up some slides of Jack's work here, and we're gonna look at these, and he's gonna tell me a little bit about these pieces. So I'm gonna pull this up here. So everybody, again, hold on to your questions. We'll be getting some questions. If you have any questions in the chat, please hold them. or if you already posted them and I just blew past them, then post it again. So I'm gonna pull this up here for Jack to take a look. And I put this one first because I just love it. I love this. It's clean. Let me do this here real quick. Do it. There we go. Take us off the screen. Tell me a little bit about this.
Well, this is actually one of the characters in my bigger story.
Oh,
So I think there's no harm in telling you a rough description about her. Oh,
I'm sorry. I hit that on accident. Yeah, go ahead. Give us a rough.
okay. So her name's Isabel, and she's she's technically a princess, but she doesn't want to be.
Okay, gotcha.
And there's a lot of there's this whole bigger plot as to why she doesn't want to be. But yeah, this is
Cool.
just when I envision the character, this is just a rough idea of what I thought she might look like, especially when she's on the run.
Gotcha. So the one I clicked to prematurely was, and I'd have to say this is David Tennant, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I love the colors in the background. Really, really just making it just stand out, you know. And of course,
This was originally for my grand's best friend, who is 90 now, and she's been watching the show ever since it first came out.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Tennant is one of her favorites, which is
yeah.
quite incredible.
Elliot,
So
I will tell you. So I'm sorry, Jack. Elliot, I'll
no,
tell you that yes, this is all pencil art hand done. Elliot. Okay. Yeah, that's a great piece. That's Tenet was my favorite as well.
awesome. I'm not the only one.
No, I love Tenet.
Everyone I talk to is always like, oh, Capaldi's the best. Things it's like, no, Tennant.
No, I enjoyed Tenet more than any of them. I enjoyed Matt too, but Tenet was the number one of the new era. So, in my opinion, mine and my wife's both. And I started with Exelson when it first came to the United States. So, and then he did 1 year, and then I didn't know that I didn't think that I would like to change to Tenet because I didn't like his haircut in the first episode. But
Yeah.
once they fleshed him out, I really enjoyed his energy.
Mhm.
Really enjoyed his era. Now I like this one here because you have the baby bunny playing with an alien and a predator. It's cool.
It's actually meant to be me.
That is cool, man. That is so cool.
I don't know why I drew this. I just felt like drawing it, and yeah, I hope I can sell that, but I probably can't because Disney owns Alien and Predator now, so soon they'll ban everyone from doing artwork
Yeah,
with them.
exactly. The rats, dirty rats. But yeah, this is a great piece, man. Great piece.
Thanks.
And then here, this looks
No
like
introduction.
possibly somebody familiar in the chat. Would it be Problem Being?
Well, I mean, just take a look for yourself. It bears enough resemblance.
Close enough. Yeah. No, that's a cool pick or drawing. I apologize. It's not a picture. It's a drawing. Now, what inspired you for the get up of the outfit, the look of?
Okay, so long story short, I was going through a bad time in lockdown, and Problem Being approached me and said, "Hey, we could do some watch-alongs together." So we just kind of did that for a couple of weeks, and then I said, "Hey, I want to." Sorry, could you just excuse me just for a moment?
Sure, no problem. No problem. Yeah, I really love the use of colors in this, and then having that brown on the shirt really brings out everything else and the blue eyes there. Yeah, this
Really
is awesome.
sorry. There's this really irritating kid racing this racing car around outside. I don't know if you can hear it.
Oh, damn, dude. Throw some bananas out there.
Oh, trust me, I've nearly gone out there with a baseball bat.
No, I was just mentioning, I don't know if you heard, but I was talking about your use of the brown in the shirt, making it as a a primary base.
Mm.
and then just everything else around it. It brings out everything, even the colors, your background, having that dark right there, but it's an earth tone, Um,
And I had to explain it's meant to be the time vortex from Doctor Who. I wasn't trying to say that because Lee obviously is, it's. I wasn't trying to make it like a pride flag.
no, no, no.
I think it came across like that accidentally when
You're
I
all
was
you're all
picturing.
good. No,
Yeah.
you're all good. You're all good. Uh, it's all cool. But I just love how you did. I do like these colors in the back because they're so bright and vibrant, and then to be, in the background of the brown shirt with the white stripes, and you got the carrot there in lieu of a cigarette. So that's a cool one. The next one here is two famous individuals on the net
Uh,
on YouTube here.
this is just me trying to get attention. I thought, maybe if I could somehow get this on a stream, you know, see their reaction. And lo and behold, thanks to Lee, it was on one of their streams. In fact, I have the video saved.
Nice, dude. That's nice.
And Gary just looks very embarrassed, like, what am I looking at? And Az is absolutely loving it.
Yeah, like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, I like that. I like that picture there, but the other one I like more is this one here.
Oh, this
This
took
this
me
one here
hours.
this speaks to me that it's you for sure because you've got the alien creature up there. They're all in battle gear, and Gary doesn't looks like he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, I think Gary's just checking his Twitter feed on the scanner.
Yeah. What
And
was behind this one? What was the
sorry.
story behind it? What was the story behind this particular one?
Well, like I say, I had this idea for a rabbit alien, because we know that when a face hugger gets on a creature, the alien takes that creature's characteristics. So I just
Right.
thought, why not have an alien rabbit? And I thought I'll throw Gary and Az in there and see what they think of this because they did
Nice.
say keep the drawings coming. So that's exactly what I did. And
I
yeah,
like
I'm
it.
really proud of this one. There's few drawings that I'm actually proud of, and I am
I
proud of
really
this one.
like it. I really like it. I do. I do. I do. And Elliot likes it too. He says, "Nice." Um, the next one here. Here's a nice one. Tell us about
I'm
that.
surprised you chose this one. That was really just a rough sketch on a drawing book. It's once again, this is one of my characters. Her name's Daisy,
Hmm.
hence why she has the Daisy ear clip and the Daisy necklace.
Nice. That's a cool one.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, she's one of the main characters. So yeah, I won't reveal too much about her, but
No, no,
yeah,
no. Yeah,
she's my personal favorite.
yeah. It's a cool pic. I like the drawing. I keep saying picture. Blech. Sorry.
It's fine.
Um, so here we go. Now this one's kind of cool. I like this the Zen Bunny. Tell us about this.
She's another one of my characters. Her name's Rose, and she's the very kind of spiritual one. What I like to think of as the group of characters.
Hmm.
They all have a role in the group, and I class her as the moral compass,
Hmm.
really. But I'm trying to work on her character a bit more because I don't want everyone to be flawless.
I got to put
I
this one
want
up
everyone to
because
have
it's
flaws.
this question's up from Elliot, and he asks, "How long does it take Jack to do a piece?"
That's a very good question, and honestly, it just depends on what it is. Like this one that you're looking at here was just a sketch that I did with a pen. I didn't pre-prep it. I didn't picture what I was going to do. I kind of just did it. And what's great about these sketches is you don't have to color them. And this probably took me about half an hour.
Oh wow!
But the Gary and Az pictures that probably took me a week, and I would be working like several hours a day.
Hmm.
And when you use coloring pencils, even when you blend them, you have to do layers and layers. You can't just do like one layer
Hmm.
and leave it at that. So the initial drawing of the picture probably took me about 2 days, and then the coloring took me about 5 days. So yeah,
And
when I
that's
make a
and
big
that's on like this one or the first
yeah,
one on
yeah,
that
that
one.
one. It's like when I do a drawing like that that has a background that I need to color as well, it
Hmm.
takes hours and hours and hours, and that's only A5 in size. So I'm currently working on a drawing that's an A3 size that I have to color a whole background in for.
Cool.
So it's taking me weeks to do it.
It's all done by pencil, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Is there a favorite brand of pencil that you have?
Oddly enough, we have this shop over here called WH Smith,
Uh-huh.
and there is a. I only seem to, out of all the different sets that I've tried, their pencils just work for me.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is, and they have the perfect shade of sort of a pinky flesh color.
Nice.
And I've tried ordering sets from alleged professional art shops,
Mhm.
and I just can't get that same level of color and blend from it.
Well,
And
you found your source,
they
you
are
gotta
quite
keep it.
expensive.
Mhm.
They're about £33 a tin.
Dang. Oh, yeah, it's yeah.
So yeah, it's but I think they're well worth it to me. The only trouble is because I draw rabbits all the time, I tend to use all the browns up, and
Uh-huh.
then I'm left with the greens and the blues and the reds that have hardly gone down. So I must have a whole bucket full of those now.
Nice. Yeah, Elliot in the chat says, "Wow, that's awesome. True dedication."
Thanks. I actually have an arts fair in like a week's time, and I'm panicking because I've realised I don't have anything to sell.
Uh-oh.
So I'm just mad rushing, like trying to do as many drawings as I can. I can show you one that I'm currently working on later on if you want to. I'll
Yeah,
put it
yeah,
up
we'll
on the-
just get through these slides real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
I mentioned this to you before we went on. This is one of my favorites because I'm a big Christmas freak. I love the Christmas wreath. Can you tell us about this one?
These are actually my two friends from university, and I really wanted to give them this because they've been some of the best friends I've ever had ever,
Mhm.
and they still are. We're meeting up in a few days, hopefully, and I just wanted to give them something really nice. They are together, and yeah, I just thought this nice little Christmas bunny thing would be really nice for them.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, that's a cool
once
one. I like that.
again, didn't really copy anything. Just kind of thought what would be nice and Christmassy,
Mhm. Yeah,
and
it's a very nice piece.
yeah, I'm proud of it. And
This is an
uh,
interesting one. This big rabbit's all serious, and the other one's
yeah,
kinda, like, leaning against the big one.
yeah.
Is that
Uh,
a
well,
mother-daughter type of deal?
no, they're sisters. The big one is
Ah,
Daisy, and the little one is Ellie, her little sister. Daisy's the bit of the grumpy teenager kind of archetype, and Ellie is the innocent child that
gotcha.
just has an unbreakable bond with her sister, even if she doesn't want it. Sometimes, she sticks to her like glue.
Oh, Willie P in the chat, or Willie's Arcade says, "Do RoboCop as a rabbit, classic. I'd love to see Canon or Conan, just everything 80s.
Give it a go.
RoboCop and Conan that as a rabbit, that would be pretty funny. I'd like to see that too. So we're giving you ideas. And here's a Spider-Man one. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right, well, something that isn't a rabbit, yay. So I just went through this point where I was getting into Spider-Man again, and before some of you say anything, I did not make the Sandman a woman. There is actually a character like this, and she's in Thor comics.
Uh-oh.
So I decided to just kind of make my own sort of comic idea. I think in the comics she's portrayed as too evil, and I was also going through this thing where I kind of think that well, bad people are just hurt people, sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah, so I really kind of, I mean, when you saw the Instagram post, did you read what I put underneath it?
Oh my goodness. You know what? Honestly, I don't remember.
It's fine, it's fine. I just kind of said, like a hero kind of stops the villain, but a true hero shows compassion as well.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry if that's coming
That's
across as
cool.
egotistical.
No, no, it's actually pretty cool. Yep.
Yeah, it's just something
So
different. It's great to take a break from the bunnies every now and then.
it is, and that's one of Elliot's favorite comics is Spider-Man. So this is one of the ones I actually had sent him and showed him, and he liked it. So Yeah, cool. I like that Spider-Man too. Oh, where's my button? There's my button. Oh, look at that. You got an eye on everybody.
Well, I just wanted to come up with a cool logo for branding. So
That's
I
cool.
thought, well, it has to be a rabbit, doesn't it? And inside the eye, you can't really make it out because it is quite small, the logo, but it's meant to be a galaxy inside his eye.
Oh, cool.
You know, it's this whole
That's
kind of
cool.
like the universe inside you and all that. So yeah, cropped it down and it looked like a really good YouTube logo. So
Uh-huh. No,
I
that's a
am
cool. Yeah,
planning
I
on.
like that YouTube logo. I do like that logo because you
Mm,
have it in your avatar. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
nice logo.
I am planning on doing a revised version where I don't use as thick a
Mm,
felt tip just under the eye. I don't really like that bit.
okay. The next one here. Now, this is something a little bit different. I know Willie in the chat just said, besides horror toy reviews, do you do any horror drawings such as Jason or Michael Myers? Well, we're getting there, Willie. We're
Uh,
getting there.
I do quite a few now because I'm really getting into them.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, so this is a bit strange, this one, because this drawing actually isn't that good, but I've made it look good because I've zoomed in on it and I've given it a nice filter. It's amazing what you can do with a filter.
looks almost like an X-ray,
Mm.
sort of, from my opinion. Looks like it's like an X-ray.
Well, not a lot of people know this, but the alien from the first movie actually has a human skull in the dome.
Really?
Yeah, and the only reason you can't see it is because it fogged up so much when it was filming.
Wow.
But there is certain lighting where you can just see the skull kind of reflecting through the dome.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I always hated about the aliens in Aliens and all the other future ones is they remove the skull. And
Uh-huh.
the idea is that the alien is supposed to be part human because it's come from a human.
Yes.
You know, it's
Xenomorph.
Giga
Yeah.
described it as kind of like the nightmare of human nature.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the whole point. It's meant to resemble vaguely a person, and
Hmm.
that's why I really do like it having the skull in there.
Yeah. It's very, like I said, to me, it looks like an X-ray.
Mm.
Very cool though with the teeth. The teeth in there. That's kind of cool. Here's this one here.
Well, yeah,
Um,
it's a bit of a side profile. This is a drawing I did for one of my uni lectures who really loved Alien the same as me.
mhm,
So yeah, I just thought I'd do this for her.
that's cool. So this next one is you had mentioned we talked about this one, and I think it's kind of cool how you did this when you told me about that.
Yeah, there's a bit of a funny thing behind this one. I was actually drawing this when we were listening to a lecture because I was so bored. And when I was drawing the head, the people who were sat behind me were kind of giggling because they said, "You can't draw that." I
They thought
think
you
you
were
can.
drawing something else.
Yeah, they thought I was drawing something else.
Yeah,
It's only when you get to the shoulders and
yeah.
the legs that they start to oh, it's
It's
an
a
alien.
cucumber.
Hey, yeah. You know, actually looking at it, I do see where they're coming from. But you know, I
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
thinking that when I was drawing
No.
it because I don't have a dirty mind. But
So
you know,
this was basically just a freehand draw. You sit there, you're bored, take out a
but
pencil on paper, and then
yeah.
just pump that out.
And I think of my favorite scene in the film, which most of it was actually cut, and that's where the alien finds Lambert and
Hmm.
you know does well. I'm not going to go into full detail because it's actually
Right.
horrific. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there was a scene that was cut where he's curled up on the floor like this, and I just really
Oh,
kind of like that.
gotcha. So this next one here, you told me the backstory about this, and I mean, I kind of think it's cool, kind of creepy in some ways, but it's cool. And here it is, the last one. Tell us about this.
Okay, well, it's once again, it's my bunny alien, and this is when me and Lee first met. So I just thought, you know, this guy deserves a nice drawing, and I
Yeah,
gave him this.
that's cool. So this is Lee.
This is Lee. I'm not quite sure how he
Oh,
took it,
boy.
to be honest. When you know, it's
I like the bunny ears on the aliens. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's funny. The big bunny feet down here too, right?
and the teeth, like the buck teeth.
Yes. Well, they did do a dog in
Well,
one
exactly. Yeah, it's
movie,
like I think they took it too far away from the dog, though. I think
yeah,
originally it was going to have more dog features on it. Yeah,
right.
but they sort of made it behind Giga's back, and there
Mm,
was a whole you should research that if you're interested, like the whole controversy behind the scenes.
right.
But yeah, that's I just thought if they could do a dog, why not a rabbit?
Why not, right? And Prophet finally made it. He showed up. Anyway, so let's see. That's pretty much it. As far as that slides are concerned.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about?
Oh gosh, I mean, it's your channel. You're the
Now I put
host.
you on the spot, right?
Yeah.
Well, tell us about some of the other sci-fi franchises that uh, you were enjoying.
Well,
I
I
know you,
think the
you talked about the original Star Trek
yeah.
and the original Star Wars. And now you had mentioned in earlier about comics. You didn't you couldn't get into comics because of the ADHD, or you just didn't like comics?
Well, I used to read comics when I was a kid, but I say read. I always used to look at the pictures.
Same here.
Yeah, and I just struggle to read the text. Usually, when it's characters that I like and I'm really invested in, that encourages me to read.
Uh-huh.
And I read this really good Poison Ivy comic
Oh,
recently. I'd looked on the internet and it was one of the best recommended, and it's really hard to come by. And I managed to get hold of it for £3.50.
nice.
So, and it's an original one from the 1990s, and I
Yep.
really enjoyed it. Fantastic artwork, great story,
Cool.
and like I say, the Sandwoman character, I didn't know there was a Sandwoman. I thought there was just,
Just a
the
Sandman.
Sandman is one of my favorite characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought I purchased the comics that she was in and
Mm-hmm.
read all of those, and just thought she was a bit underused and a bit underdeveloped. So I thought I'd kind of make my own
Right.
interpretation of her. So no, I'm not doing a gender swap, which I'm sure many people will accuse me of. Is like, oh, you male feminist. It's like, no, I'm just she already exists. She's existed since the 1980s. Go look it up.
Right.
So, yeah, I can assure you. But yeah, like I say, characters I really like. There's a couple of Spider-Man comics I do want to read. But mostly, I think you got to have the best comics when you were growing up. I think there's not really much out there that would interest me today.
Oh, the 70s and the 80s stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you got the golden era, or
Yeah.
you know,
And I have all the comics that I had when I was a kid. I have and I've got DC and Marvel, but I'm finding that the majority of the ones that I had were it's about 50-50 roughly. Um, I have like some Superman, um, Captain America. Um, I also have some oddball ones that were done by I think they were done by DC, like for the television show The $6 Million Man back in the 60s, 70s.
mm,
So I have a copy of that. I have a couple Star Trek comics from the 90s. I have the original, well, the printing that they did of when they killed Superman in 1993. I have that one, and I have an unopened, meaning I've never broke the factory seal on a Batman comic I bought in '94. I want to say that was either a Batman Family comic. I can't remember, but I do have a Batman comic from like 1980 where it had Batman Family. So you have the Man Bat, you have Batgirl, Batman, Robin. That one was kind of gory.
doesn't
That
the
one was kind of
Joker
gory.
doesn't the
Yeah,
Joker cut his face off and wear his own face?
I don't know. I don't remember that.
I don't know. I heard it was from a comic called like The Family or something.
Could have been. It could have been part of. Maybe it was part of the Miller era when they did when they transitioned from the regular newsprint comic to a graphic novel in the 80s. And my nephew had the whole series of the Batman one that they did. I think it was a Frank Miller. That one was pretty graphic. Robin gets killed in that, or a Robin gets killed in that one. So, and I think, a Robin gets killed. Green Arrow gets his arm ripped off by Superman. Yeah. Interesting stuff.
Superman was getting a bit out of control, wasn't he?
A little bit. One of my favorite comics, and the reason why I know it's my favorite is because it's the one that's the worst for wear, and that was my Black Panther comic. So that was a good story too. Good one. All of my comics I have now, the new stuff I'm getting from a company called Alterna Comics, and I actually got like quite a bit of those. Those are good stories, good art. I think Elliot knows the name. I think he's got some of those comic books too, or Legends of Log, and then just Mr. Crypt and Baron Rat are kids, or for kids comics.
Yeah.
And then there's Legends of Log, which is kind of for everybody per se. A lot of great artists. They're on Twitter, and I follow them. The Legends of Log. Type in Log, and you'll find him on Twitter. But yeah, lots of good stuff.
I do love the Time Prophets comment there. That jackass rabbit. It just about sums me up.
Oh, the jackass rabbit. What? Oh. Am I blind? Am I not seeing it? Oh my gosh. I see this one. That's well before that, or yeah.
It's the one after that.
Oh, yeah. My short eyeballs. Yeah, Time Prophet. Jackass rabbit. I love the Time Prophet. He's got a great channel. He does some good stuff on there. He posted that he's been doing his music for that actually when he came in. So let's see what else. Hey, Jack, you said you were going to show me an action figure.
I mean, I've got quite a few here.
The new one you just got in. The brand spanking new one.
Oh, yes.
The brand spanking new one.
So they're in the box at the moment.
Uh-huh.
But my uncle helped me get this to finally complete the Alien 40th anniversary collection.
Nice.
So I will just it's on camera for you.
There we go.
So ignore my face. So yeah, Ellen Ripley.
Nice.
She is the hardest one to find. She also comes with Jonesy the cat.
Nice.
And
That's
even
cool.
the cat box to keep her in, and the flamethrower. You collect all these ones at the back here.
Nice.
Which I have all of. It's just this one that I didn't have.
Nice.
And I recently...
Didn't you get a new Xenomorph that was small?
Yes, I was just going to show him for you here.
That's the new one. It's
difficult to see in the box, but it's the
Alien. The light's kind of shining on it. It's kind of reflecting.
So it's just gone dark here, actually. So it's quite...
Yeah, I know. It's late over there now.
This is better. You can see him in there.
Yeah, we can see him. It's still kind of shiny because of that plastic, but
the plastic, yeah.
That's kind of cool. Now, you were saying that that's a smaller version, right?
Yeah, this one is about 7 inches, and
Uh-huh.
this one is only 4.
Yeah, that's tiny. Yeah, in comparison.
But for the level of detail on it, especially for the size, it's quite incredible.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because I remember the photo you put on Twitter.
Mm. Yeah,
So
I couldn't believe how good it
you had it
looked for the
sitting on your
size.
keyboard, I think.
Oh no, it was
Yeah.
just my bedside table. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Let me ask you this: is there any classic sci-fi that's not out now that you like? Say, like the Jerry Anderson stuff. Have you ever got into that? The like UFO, Space 1999, any of the
Mm.
superorientation things like Thunderbirds or Stingray?
No, I'm not. I'm quite terrible when it comes to classic stuff. Although Lee has kind of strapped me to a chair and made me watch endless classic stuff. Like,
Blake Seven, no doubt.
oh my god, no, no!
Blake Seven, yes.
I'm sorry. It's
Red
just,
Dwarf, Blake Seven. Uh,
but I did watch Thunderbirds as a kid, and I loved it. You know,
yeah,
all the puppets and all that. Lots of people like to laugh at it. It's like it's pretty good to me. Like the amount of hard work that goes into it.
you can tell the progression of the quality of the the models
Yeah.
as you go through the different iterations of the franchises that he had. Supercar, and then Thunderbird, XL5, Fireball XL5, then the Thunderbirds, or pardon me, then Stingray, then the Thunderbirds, and then they had Captain Scarlet, which is a very interesting one.
Mm.
I'm finding out it's pretty violent. And then he transitioned to his first live action, which was UFO. So, which is a good series. I watched all 26 episodes. It was a very good series. It's a shame they only had 26.
Mm.
And then, of course, when I was a kid in the 70s, I watched Space 1999 all the time. Both seasons of that. I actually have a lunchbox in very good condition with the thermos of Space 1999. So fun time. That's the one thing. As you growing up, you didn't have the good fortune of having lunch boxes like we did back in the day.
I mean,
We
I
had
had a
the
Doctor Who one, but
Yeah. Was it a plastic or metal?
no, it wasn't metal. Like you got those really cool
Yeah.
ones back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I've been getting into the Jerry Anderson stuff quite a bit. I know that they've done a 3D animation CGI type stuff with Captain Scarlet that's out. I think they did that about
Yeah.
15, 20 years ago or something, or maybe even earlier, or earlier, time. But yeah, a lot of different stuff.
Seen some
So now that
capture.
Lee has strapped you in a chair and forced you to watch stuff, are you a Blake Seven fan yet?
No, and I'm afraid it's not likely going to happen. Never seen such a cheaply made show in all my life.
Oh my god.
I've trust me, I have gone through. You know, lockdown. Like this will help you feel better. It didn't. It's got some good things. I will give it that. It has got some good things in there. You can definitely see some parallels with classic Who,
Hmm.
but it's just there's no excuse for how cheap it is. Like even back then, like I'm sorry.
Oh,
But
yeah,
then
you're not the only one that notices stuff like that, but yeah.
I mean, we're on series 3, right? And the funny thing is, the main character Blake isn't in it, and the show's actually better for it. It's,
Oh, I know, right? It's funny.
yeah,
Holy smoke! The namesake of the show is not in it. What the
not
hell?
in it, and it's a
Yeah,
better bloody
it's a
show.
better show.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It'd
funny.
be if like they took Jodie Whittaker out of Doctor Who. Well, no, not even that would save it.
Just skip her. Yeah, there you
Then
go.
it'd just be whole episodes of why we're oppressed because we're a different color. Like, just so
Have you watched any of the talking about the 70s? There was the in the United States we had Battlestar Galactica, the original Battlestar Galactica with Lauren Green as
me
Adama and stuff.
me and Lee have just watched the films, the sort
Ah,
of modern films. Then we're going to watch the series. I think we might go back and give the original a try.
hmm
I just have to say, I'm burnt out at the moment of classic stuff. I'm tired of seeing cardboard walls and, like ray guns that look like hair dryers. It just gets a bit too much after you've done it as much as I have.
Oh, then I know there's one movie you'll never watch. One of my favorite Christmas movies. It's called Santa Claus Conquers the Martians from 1964, I think. Yeah.
I mean,
It's
that
literally the robots made of cardboard. Yeah, you'd probably lose your mind. The sets are literally cardboard. You can tell that.
no, Lee, I'll never understand. I'll never understand, but I mean, hey, I
Oh,
watched Laurel and Hardy, Norman Wisdom. Like, how further back do you want me to go? And, at least they have proper
uh,
locations. Like, and proper. It's like, I love the Hartnell era of Doctor Who.
uh-huh.
I don't know what it is. I enjoyed that the most out of all of because I'm doing a marathon of the whole show,
Yeah.
and I don't know. The Hartnell era just has a charm about it, and you can't get that more cardboard set than that. But
hmm
it just I don't know. That there are some shows from the past that I watch, and I just go, "There's no way people took this seriously." Like
Yeah, I got through the Hartnell era, and I know the first year of it. I mean, he was just an ass.
I mean, he was, but they
Portrayed
kind
him
of
as
made
an
him
asshole. Really,
funny
he
in a
was.
way.
But yeah, he kind of softened up as the years went by, as the character did.
Mm.
But yeah, um, Willie in the chat says Spaceballs. You ever seen Spaceballs?
I have seen a couple of the sketches in it. I love the alien sketch where he's like, "Oh no, not again."
Yeah, yeah, Spaceballs. That's a good Mel Brooks movie. uh,
And there are lots of classics that I love. I mean, Alien is 1979,
mhm.
and Ghostbusters and all those older things. Like, I just think that I don't know. Like, yeah, I think I just I'm not really fond of much anymore. Like, I'm trying to get into new things, and it's just difficult to know what to get into.
Right, you're burned out.
Yeah, I really am. Like, because I'm just sick of everything that I once loved being ruined.
I think there's a lot of us that feel that way. Quite a few, quite a bit, I should say, of us that feel the same way you do.
That's why
But
I'm just working on creating my own thing.
and you know what? That's probably the best medicine is to work on your own stuff. Take your art and run with it. Take some ideas. Um, the only idea that's a bad idea is the one you don't flesh out. You never gave it a chance.
Mm.
Yeah, do your own stuff. I mean, look what people are doing if you go on Twitter and you, like I told you about the comic book people, the artists that I follow through the Alterna comic company, these artists do all kinds of different stuff, and there's all kinds of different creators out there. I'm sure you're aware of what I don't know, Eric July has done with his comic book that is coming out. Actually, he already got the product. He just got it in. I saw a post. I don't know if you're aware of his comic book and what's been going on with him. But it was an idea that was created out of the ashes of all the BS that's been going on, and that's pretty much the phoenix that's risen from his side of things, but there's a lot of stuff out there. I mean, I know there's a lot of independent film people trying to do their thing, and with everything that's going on in entertainment, Hollywood, etc., and other mediums, pretty much going to have to create your own stuff and put it out there, and create your own franchise, create your own universe.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with it.
that's what I want to do, but I feel burnout like quite a lot now. And I think it's because there's not that much good new stuff coming in to inspire.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's having a bit of a domino effect,
Mm,
and just with everything that's going on in the world, I think we need good entertainment now more than ever.
absolutely.
And we're getting the exact opposite.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
What?
Problem being,
Lot R. Never heard of it.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
There you go. That was a great Peter Jackson movies. Those were awesome.
I've got the box set. The only reason I haven't watched them yet is because I know they're like 3 hours long.
Yeah, each movie.
Yeah, and I
Three
just
of
don't think I have the attention span to manage it.
Yep. Yeah, that was a good. Well, let me ask you this: were you ever into the Harry Potter series?
Yes, I have all of them on DVD.
Nice. Did you have any of the books?
No, because like I said, I couldn't really read.
Gotcha.
I know there's going to be those people, oh, the books are so much better. And it's like, well, I'm sorry.
Yeah. The movies were great. There's,
I didn't like the
I don't
last
think
two.
we have all of them, but I have the first ones. I think the
Yeah, the
first
first
three.
ones were great.
Yeah. But that's a good franchise, or was.
Yeah, until they ruined it.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's up to people like yourself to come up with the new franchises for the future,
I don't know. I think people will be mad at me because I don't have a trans bunny.
That's the Xenomorph.
Oh yeah, that's it.
It transformed. But no, I mean, that's another thing too. You got to ignore the haters.
Yeah, from both sides.
Yeah. You know what? I think you need to pursue that bunny in space stuff.
Well, they don't actually go to space. It's more it's more kind of like they're augmented.
There you go. Mutant bunnies. Love it. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Yeah. What's this?
Trans bunny lives matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, they're not going to be able to use the diversity argument because all bunnies are covered in fur.
There you go. Daniel Leach loved the trilogy, Lord of the Rings. What is it? Mockery is the best form of flattery from Willie P. That's what Spaceballs literally was a mockery of George Lucas's Star Wars franchise.
Well, I always say, like, if you want to know how great a franchise was, how many memes come out of it?
Mm-hmm.
And the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy has an entire
Oh,
subreddit
yes.
just dedicated to memes.
Yeah.
And I don't care what anyone says, Spider-Man 3 was great.
Mm-hmm.
I'd choose it over
Toby
any
was
of
my
the films.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
Toby
was.
was my Spider-Man.
And everyone says, "Oh, but he wasn't sexy. He cried all the time." The whole point is he's supposed to be the unlikable nerd.
Yeah.
That's who
Yep.
Spider-Man is. He's the awkward kid. He's not the piece of eye candy for women. He's
Yep.
meant to be, well, me, the underdog.
Mhm.
Someone who gets bullied at school and who, and Tobey Maguire
Right.
just fit that perfectly. Like, for me,
Time Prophet in the chat dropping some knowledge.
there's no such thing as a trans bunny. I mean, we don't know what they get up to when we're not looking, do we?
Watership Down is a great movie, he says.
Yeah, it is a great
Uh,
movie.
Willie in
Bunny
the chat.
lives matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'd support that actually, to be honest. Like,
Oh,
that's a
man.
version I would support. Except the trouble is they'd overpopulate then, so we'd have to exterminate the
There you
majority
go.
of them.
Well, yeah, we'd have some Hassenpfeffer.
Yeah.
We could have bunny burritos.
Do you know, I've never eaten rabbit.
To my knowledge, I haven't either.
Bat bunny.
Not
Yeah.
knowingly. Tolkien, Time Prophet Tolkien wrote the trilogy as one book, but they forced him to break it up into 3. Probably
God,
take a year
one
to
book,
read it.
that would have been like 4 times the length of the Bible.
Yeah. Yeah. BLM, Bunny Lives
I
Matter.
did actually watch one of the Hobbit movies, and lots of people seem to hate the Hobbit, but I thought it was okay.
I liked it because I liked the actor who played the Hobbit.
Martin Freeman, I love him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I liked him in, of course, the Sherlock series. I loved his
Yes.
character in that.
Oh, I hate the writing of the series, but
Yeah.
Martin and
Yeah.
Benedict, just
Yeah.
them two alone kept me invested.
Yeah. No, I loved his role in that as Watson. I also liked him in the Black Panther movie.
Yeah,
as
the only
CIA
white
guy.
guy they had, and he was the favorite character.
Yeah. Yeah, he was good in that. There was another, but yeah, the Hobbit one, I liked his role, and I liked him playing, Bilbo. That was good. It was good to see him in that, playing that role.
There was a great show on recently where Martin Freeman was the main character. He played a cop.
Can't remember.
He was a corrupt policeman.
Oh, bad guy, nice.
Well, he's kind of like, you understood why he was doing it, and he knew he'd messed up, but his actions came back to haunt him. And,
Right.
It was really great. He's such a good actor. He was putting on a Brummie accent, which was great.
His American accent wasn't bad.
No, I think British actors can do American accents a bit better than American actors can do British accents. It's just something I've noticed.
Agree with you. I can agree with you on that.
Sometimes I see an American trying to be British and I can spot it straight away. But I will say though, Robert Downey Jr. does a great one.
Yes.
You've seen him as Sherlock.
Yes.
I think he did a fantastic job.
I like his movies with Sherlock. Yeah, I loved him and Jude Law. It was good. Good combo. Yep. Good
and
stuff.
Also Johnny Depp. He's very good.
Yes.
In fact, I thought he was British at one point because his voice, it's kind of like somewhere in between.
Oh, yeah. So, are you a fan of the Sherlock Holmes genre?
Like I say, I've watched Stephen Moffat's show. I've got the box set. I also watched the first one of Robert Downey's movies. Although on my most recent watching, I kind of found it a bit boring.
Mm-hmm.
Like the pacing was a bit, but I kind of liked it. And I think he's a great character.
Time Prophet here with an acting suggestion: Robert Downey Jr. to play the Black Panther.
Oh, I think that's
a meme going around. That's a meme going around. Yeah, from Tropic Thunder or whatever that movie
Thunder,
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that film hasn't been completely deleted.
Oh, that's too funny. That's too funny. Wait, what did he say? Problem being says used to play Black Panther when I was around running around the playground before I got arrested, of course. Oh my god. Something from Stephen Amore in the chat says, yeah, I watch Frasier, and every time an American actor tries to be British. I never got into that series. Checking out stuff here. So, because I asked you about the Sherlock Holmes thing because there's, it goes back a long way in British cinema. Of course, there's Basil Rathbone and, Nigel Bruce. Those are the quintessential Sherlock and Watson from the 30s and the 40s. And then there was another gentleman who played Sherlock Holmes on a TV series in Britain. The actor was named Ronald Howard. And I forget the gentleman. I think his name was Norman. No, Marion. I forget his last name. He played Watson. But I loved his Watson because his Watson was not a pushover, and he wasn't very much older, if older at all, than Holmes. And so he was rough and tumble. A very big man. There was some scenes in that series. I think how many years it ran, but I know it was multiple series, multiple seasons, years on BBC. But it's called New Adventures of Sherlock Holmes or something like that. And they were about 25 to 30 minute episodes. Good stuff, funny stuff, good stuff though. But yeah, there's that, and then of course Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal. But then there's I forgot the gentleman that did him in the '80s. Did Sherlock Holmes in the '80s, early '90s. I forget his name though. I don't know why I'm thinking Albert Finney, but it's not Albert Finney. It's another gentleman. Time Prophet, you know everything. Who played Sherlock Holmes in the '80s? Where'd you go, Time Prophet? Well, you know what? It's pretty late over there, isn't it? It's like 9 o'clock.
No, it's
Almost
about 25 past 8.
Yeah, 25 past 8. Yeah. Tom. Yeah, here we go. Stephen Amore says Tom Baker played Sherlock in a couple of BBC TV films. I'm trying to find them. Saw them when they were broadcast. Yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be cool to find those. Very cool. Jeremy, yeah, there we go. Jerry B. Bennett. That who played it, Willie? The old TV series in the 80s. Jeremy Bennett, or was it Jeremy Brett? Am I thinking? There we go. Problem being with the save. Jeremy Brett. Yeah, Holmes in the 80s. Yep. Wasn't he short, though? I always thought Sherlock Holmes was a tall guy. I thought Brett was a short man. Don't know. Don't know. So you're not much into reading, though, but you're going to write a book.
I know, it's ironic, isn't it?
That's cool, though. That's cool. Trying to face down the mountain of the beast. You got to climb up that mountain. That's your goal. Write that book. Do the illustrations.
I mean, I'm hoping if the entertainment industry improves, I could maybe get a movie.
It's a possibility, but you got to start. Got to start at the first step.
Yeah.
Aim high. Aim high, definitely. But you do good. You do really good art, and I think you'll go a long way because I think your idea for kind of like a sci-fi whatever bunny thing. I think you can find a market for that.
I can. I'll just send you over. There's a picture I didn't show you. Sorry, I just have to look it up.
Sure. Oh, problem in the chat says Tom was great in The Hound of the Baskerville, though reminiscent of the talons of Wing Ching.
Chiang.
Yeah. Chiang. There we go. Cool. Daniel Leach in the chat says Jeremy Brett was Tom Baker's hero. Very cool. Oh. Ow. Oh, the wind's blowing like hell over here now. We're getting a monsoon supposed to be rolling into the desert. Isn't that great?
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah, wind's blowing like hell. Right out of the southeast. Coming right up the Baja Peninsula. We're only about 50 miles from Baja, California, or from the Gulf of California in Mexico. So we get a lot. We're in the middle of the frickin' desert. Tumbleweeds, snakes, lizards, and we get monsoons in the summer, and it just dumps a ton of rain, and it goes away. It's like dries out in less than a few hours of it stopping. It's crazy. Gotta love it. And we get up to 40
little snakes around.
Yeah, I had an experience with one in my backyard about 6 years ago. Yeah, that was a fun one. Thankfully, it was not a rattlesnake. I think it was a gopher snake or a garden snake. It wasn't, but yeah, still big. But yeah, there's scorpions all over the place, all kinds of insects, spiders, you name it.
Yeah, I've sent you the pictures.
Let's see. Where are we at? Hang on. There we go. Now that looks cool. I like that. Are those ferrets?
Yep.
I like it. Dude. Yes. Run with that, man. Run with that. I like that. Seriously, that's awesome, dude. That's that's awesome. That is awesome. I like those ferrets. If that's a ferret. That's awesome, man. Oh, that's so awesome. There was a cartoon series back in the late '90s, and it was on American television. It was I think it was either on Nickelodeon or I think it was Nickelodeon at the time when Nickelodeon was big. The late '90s, early 2000s in America. They were huge, and they were producing their own shows and stuff. And they had a show on called "I Am Weasel." And the main character, the weasel, who was I think it was Red, was voiced by Michael Dorn, Worf of The Next Generation, Star Trek. Funny as hell. You see this goofy looking character, and then it speaks, and it's like Worf. Oh my god. Yeah. And
Wow.
his main adversary was a baboon. It was funny. But I just, for whatever reason, those ferrets reminded me of that show. Reminded me of the Michael Dorn character. If you get a chance, look it up sometime. You can probably find it all over the place on YouTube, but
Mm.
kind of funny.
The rabbits, they kind of wear like this robotic armor in the same way.
Yeah. Looks like one's wearing like a mask or
Yeah, I've got the design from Geek's Alien once again. Like they have these domes that go over them,
nice.
so they can see more. They're a lot faster, more deadlier. That's the whole idea.
Nice. Yeah, man. I like the idea. I like your idea, and I like the artwork. I like that. Yeah, that's good. I like that sketch. The second picture.
Oh yeah, they told me to keep the styles simple.
Yeah, it looked like they're holding super soakers, squirt guns.
I didn't know how to design the weapons, so I just
At least cool though, man. It is what it is. I like it. It fits.
Mm.
It fits. That armor thing that those ferret weasel things, whatever, are wearing. That's pretty cool looking, man. Yeah, run with that. That's good, dude. That's good stuff right there. There's a lot of people that would snatch that up quick, man. Don't want you to take their money. If you had something like that with a good story and everything and the art. Yep. Do that.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it's understandable that you got burned out with all the the franchises that just have basically been imploding lately in the recent months and years actually. It doesn't help trying to get into something, especially someone a younger generation trying to get into something that's pretty much been tainted.
Sorry, I've just sorry.
No problem. Let's see here. What is that? Probably is in the chat talking about Stephen Amore. Big Finish did audio dramas of Jags and Lightfoot. What is Jags and Lightfoot? Do tell. What is that?
They're two characters that appeared in the Talons of Wenchiang.
Ah,
and they were so loved by the fans they got their own series.
nice. Nice. Yeah, just rolling through these here. Yeah. Really, BBC, according to Stephen, the BBC seems very intent on not running classic Who, as though they are trying to push an agenda. Yeah, that's why they're all on BritBox.
Yeah, well, I think
That's why I have BritBox.
I think it's about time that Doctor Who went somewhere else other than the BBC.
Yep.
Because they've never deserved it, like right from the beginning.
Yeah, it's yeah, they've pretty much messed it up, in my opinion, especially this era. But going back into even with the Capaldi era, loved Capaldi's acting, but he could have been so much better with better writing.
Oh yeah, if he'd have had Tennant's writing, he might have been my favourite.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. So, are you aware of, or have you? Well, I guess that's right. Are you aware of any of the old American sci-fi stuff, like TV shows from back in the day, old stuff?
I mean, the only
like-
show I can think of. It's not really sci-fi, but it's getting a remake soon, which I'm not sure about. The Monsters.
Oh, the Munsters. Oh yeah,
Monsters, yeah. I did really
yeah.
love that when I was a kid.
I heard about that. A lot of people are starting not to be very happy about that.
Yeah, because it's Rob Zombie, and we all know what he did to Halloween.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of bummed about that. That was, the good thing about when I was growing up as a little kid in the '70s, I had that's what the reruns were. The reruns were the Munsters, the Addams Family, Three Stooges, and then all these sitcoms and TV shows, adventure shows from the '60s. And so I got to see a lot of that stuff. Gilligan's Island. It's a great show, funny. But I was referring to like some of the sci-fi stuff, like Lost in Space, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Those two franchises were done by the same man. Irwin Allen is a big disaster movie guy. He did the Towering Inferno, and he did the original the Poseidon Adventure. A lot of great actors in both of those movies, but his claim to fame is disaster movies. I mean, he did a bunch of stuff too in the '60s before that, before the television stuff. But his biggest TV show was Lost in Space, and then of course Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, which came on a little bit later. I think Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea was running up against Star Trek, and so was um, Lost in Space. They were kind of like their competitors in on TV back in the '60s, which was kind of cool because you could see similarities in some of the stuff, and they were all sci-fi based, especially the Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Even though it was supposed to be a quote unquote, you know, modern day, Earth type of deal, but it was all a lot of robots and ghosts and monsters and all kinds of weird aliens and things like that every week they would have on that show. That would be some you might I don't know. You're talking about the sets not looking that great. The sets on the Voyage of the Bottom of the Sea were not bad because most of the time in a submarine, so you actually had what looked like metal. Not a lot of cardboard, so metal hatches and stuff like that. So it had an air of looking legit. You know, the color was great. If you can get some of the stuff that's been remastered, like most of the stuff you'll find on YouTube of those episodes is pretty decent. But just a suggestion, throw that out there, because there's all kinds of different sci-fi that's not been ruined yet, and it probably won't be because it's so old. No one wants to deal with it. No one remembers it, but they want to deal with they want to jack up all the good stuff, you know.
What? How do you spell it?
Voyage to the
Yeah.
Bottom of the Sea.
Oh yeah, no, it's all right. I got it.
Yeah. And then Lost in Space. That's another one of his. And then there's two others that I think they didn't last too long. Those two are the biggest ones, but there was two other shows. One of them is called The Time Tunnel, and I think it only lasted one season. And the fourth one is called Land of the Giants.
It looks cool.
Yeah, dude, Lost in Space and Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea are great. You will notice, depending on the episodes, that sometimes some of the costumes for, like, say, aliens and creatures from Lost in Space, they refurbished them and used them in the Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. They did subtle changes, but if you have a pretty good eye and you knew what they were before, and you could see them. And Irwin Allen was big on recycling sets and props and things. So, but they were good. They were good sci-fi. It was '60s sci-fi, 1960, in color. Well, The first few episodes of Voyage, I think the first season of Voyage Odyssey was black and white, and I think the same thing for Lost in Space. But after their first seasons, they were all color. So very bright colors in both of them. So, but something to look at. I mean, like I said, it's old sci-fi. It hasn't been destroyed yet, thank God. Oh, Jens Peters is in the chat. Yeah, he says that the time tunnel was one of his favorites. Yeah, it wasn't bad because Bobby Darin, the pop singer back in the '60s, Bobby Darin was in it. He played one of the lead roles. It's a shame it didn't last as long. But oh yeah, Stephen Amore. We're talking about '60s TV. Hogan's Heroes went up when I found out that all the Germans in the series had been in concentration camps or escaped, fought in some of the most dangerous. Joe this Tell Gunner. Okay. So some of the extras were Germans, were actual. That's old. Well, it was the '60s, so you got about 20 years, mid 1960s. So yeah, Second World War ended in '45. Hogan, 20 years. So that makes sense. Really? So Stephen Amore says that WebV had those series run on terrestrial British TV. All right. Yes, This Island Earth, 1955. Yeah, that one's a good one. Oh, The Forbidden Planet.
Oh,
That
yeah,
is a sci-fi classic. You said you've seen that one?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You'll like it. It's good. Yeah, very good movie. Sliders. That was a good TV series. They ripped off Time Tunnel. Yeah. Yeah, it kind of did. Yeah. Sliders. That was I couldn't get into it. I think I watched the first season of it and then I got bored. But it was a long-running series. It was like 5 or 6 seasons, I think. So, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that's not been tainted, and a lot of people don't even know about. So you might find some of those franchises that I mentioned interesting to check out. It's definitely not woke, that's for sure. Like UFO, it's definitely not woke. Oh, I like UFO because it has some good special effects. The extras are the special effects. Anyway, I'm biased like that. Anyway, cool. Well, Jack, I think we're going to end it, and since it's really late over there for you, well, it's almost 9:00, so don't want to keep you. You probably got other stuff you want to do or need to do. But I really am appreciative of you coming on today and letting me interview you and telling us a little bit more about what you do and yourself. And showing us some of your letting me show some of your great pieces of work out there.
It's a pleasure, and just thank you for taking an interest in it.
You know what? It's my pleasure to take a look at it. It's so awesome, the different forms of art, and the stuff that you do in pencil. I could never do that. I can't even draw a squiggly line right, and it still looks like crap. You know, you guys that have the talent are just that talent. You're the talent. Um, keep cultivating it, keep working on it, and you've got a long and winding road, my friend. You know, you're just starting out, and you got a lot of people behind you. You know, problem being is there to help you out and give you some moral support and push you, you know, toward different things. So it's good. It's good to know about the other
Um,
genres and the other media, you know, the other franchises.
I'll say if it wasn't for this community, I don't know where I'd be right now, to be honest. So,
Well, Jack,
people like Problem Being and everything have just helped me through so much. So,
mhm,
regardless what people may say about this, it's like, you don't know just how supportive they all are.
yeah. Problem being is a very generous with his heart man, and he's a very good man. And uh, I'm not saying it because I'm a big fanboy of his. I'm saying it because it's the honest truth. You know, I have seen or listened to the things that he's said on. He's been on many streams, many different people streams, and I've heard his conversations, and I've heard him talk about things. We have had our private conversations in private streams, uh, and you know, he's talked about stuff, and you know, he's a very good and generous with his heart man, and he's a treasure, and you know, you're very lucky to have him there, you know, on your shoulder, pointing you, you know, pointing you in the right direction, you know, getting you out of your dumps. You know, it's always good. It's always good to have someone there to push you out of the hole, you know, or to pull you out of the hole, you know, whether it's figuratively or physically, you know. And he's a good human being, a good problem being. Uh, Willie's Arcade. Wow, Wookie Fever 1969. I can't wait until you speak about me, LOL. Oh, but you have the Robocop's gun. I don't have to say anything. Jack, you are more than welcome on any of our streams that we usually have with Gobby and Willie and uh, Cruel Beer Ab and whoever else is able to come. You know, you're more than welcome. Anytime you want to bullshit with a bunch of old guys about old franchises or show our toys off, you're more than welcome.
Thank
You
you.
know? Yeah.
And thanks for having me because, I know like a lot of people are frightened of my generation and for good reason.
Well, you know what? There's every generation kind of feels like that. You know, hey, I was young, I was your age, so yeah, a lot of confusion can happen, a lot of doubt, self doubt, self worth, you know, things like that. But if you have the right environment, and the right surroundings, and the right humans, you know, you'll make it through. And the one thing you got to do is have confidence in yourself. If you lose confidence in yourself, that's, you know, that's not good. But you have the right people around you to help you realize your abilities and your talents, and that will lift your confidence back up. You know, I mean, there's an old line, not an old line. What is an old line in a movie? There's a Clint Eastwood movie, Heartbreak Ridge, where one of the guys, he's the sergeant of the platoon, he's trying to train these guys, and one guy pissed off a lieutenant, and he's running the guy ragged, and the guy falls down, and Clint Eastwood's character goes over to him, and you know the guy's like dying. He's like can't move, his legs hurt and everything. He's just he can't do it anymore. He says, "Don't give the son of a bitch the satisfaction," and it motivated the guy to get up and keep going. You know, and you got to think of it that way. Don't give the haters the satisfaction of you falling down. Well, you can get up. If you fall down, the only way to go is up. You know, screw them. You know, but you've got good people out there. Lee, Noel, you have great art, and people are noticing what you do with your art, your talents, and ride that pony hard, man, because you got talent, and you got some cool toys too. Cool collectibles. Pardon my misspeaking there. They're collectibles.
That's all right.
Yes, they are, and I have my share of original stuff from the 70s. So yeah. Oh my God. Jack, again, anytime you want to come on and see all the weird shit from the old guys, what we pull out of our garages and attics and show online or talk about, more than welcome to be in the chats, more than welcome to come on.
Thanks so much, and thanks for having me.
You're always welcome. And we're going to call it a night. And thank you, everybody in the chat, for coming in. Stephen Morey, Problem Being, Daniel Leach, Willie's Arcade, the Time Prophet was in here. Jens Petters, thank you for coming in, Jens. Appreciate it. Did I forget anybody? Did I miss anybody? I don't know that I did. I got Daniel. Yeah. Good stream, by the way, the other night, Daniel. When you and Charlotte for Bernard and yourself, you had a great stream too, Jack. You and Problem Being, I watched that. Talked about Bernard. You guys did a good job. Everybody did a good job because everybody speaks from the heart, especially you guys, because you guys over there in England, you guys grew up with him at different facets of your life. Problem Being remembers him from when he was a kid, and so does Gobby, and others. They all different facets and different shows, doing different things and commercials and stuff. So, it was definitely a part of. And then, of course, with Doctor Who. That's where I encountered him, was Doctor Who. I didn't know who he was, and then I started watching Faulty Towers, and I'm like, oh wait, that's Wilford. He's in Faulty. So yeah.
And in the Dalek Invasion of Earth.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh,
I haven't seen that
great.
one yet with Cushing.
You have to watch it.
Yeah.
Not the TV show version, the movie.
Yes. Yeah. Now I've seen that version, but the movie version with Cushing in it, that was the second one that he did as the Doctor.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the first one. So, but I haven't seen the second one.
Second one is better.
Yeah. Cool. I look forward to it. I definitely look forward to it. Again, thanks everybody in the chat for coming in. Thank you everybody that's been viewing the stream and listening to me ramble. And please, in the description, I have a link to Jack's YouTube channel. So please click on that, go there, please subscribe to his channel and see all the great toys or collectibles and art and stuff that he has. He's doing a lot of good stuff. And you know what? He's the future of fandoms and franchises. He's the future. You know what? We need to get behind him in any way we can, whether it's physically or morally. Ha! What is that? That's too funny, dude. Hold on. What the hell? That's funny. What is that?
What?
That's funny.
What's funny?
I love that, man. That's classic.
Are you taking the mick out of my looks?
No, I love it. I think it's awesome, dude. That is too classic. I love the teeth. Smile, baby, smile. There you go. Awesome. That Colgate smile. Oh, that's cool, bro. See, you got cool stuff the old dudes would like. Oh yeah. That's cool. Yeah. What did Daniel say?
Drashig.
Drashig.
It's from a Third Doctor story, The Carnival of Monsters.
Nice. Is that what that's from?
Yeah, it's like a hand puppet thing.
Nice. Oh wait, Willie. Yeah, we need to do that on the stream. Yeah, we got to get Gobby involved. Gobby, yep. We do something like that. I used to have a marionette. Kind of creepy, but yeah, I got rid of it. No, that's classic, man. That's funny. Yeah, problem Carnival Doctors, yeah, or Carnival Monsters, yep. Stephen and Maury, the same thing. Yep. Daniel, thank you so much for the kind word. So always entertaining to watch his streams, Daniel and Charlotte. It's especially when Daniel gets a little emotional and he starts cussing. It's funny. He never hides how he feels.
No.
Yeah, good streams, good stuff. Oh wow, okay. Virtual Plus Puffet, Frankenstein's monster. Yep. Yeah, and you miss it. Based on the movie. Anyway, awesome. Yeah, we're gonna have a stream tomorrow. Unfortunately, Gabi will not be there. He has other things going on. He can't make it. But that happens. It's a Sunday, so it is what it is. I'm just glad that I get a chance to have Gabi on, and he's able to come on because he's funny. So good guy. Everybody's a good guy. Willie too. Willie's got some good stuff. He's into the Transformers and all the 80s stuff. Did you ever watch the Transformers, Jack?
Yes, I love the show and the movie.
Oh my God, yeah. Transformers. There was my brain just died. Voltron. I was trying to spit that out. Did you ever watch Voltron?
No.
Oh. Did you ever watch in the real name of it's called Gotcha Man, but in the United States they called it G-Force.
No.
That was kind of like a Voltron deal, but that's some good Japanese anime there.
Yeah, I'm not the best anime.
Cool. Yep. All right. Yes, it's time to go. And I got someone else hopped in. Aardvark. Sorry, yeah, we're just wrapping it up. Hopefully you'll get to watch the rerun and you can take a look at some of Jack's art. Really good stuff. Thanks for coming in, Aardvark. Really appreciate it. Yeah, problem being it was G-Force here too. Had some figures in Belgium. Belgium, yeah, okay. Gotcha, man. Yeah, Battle of the Planets. Yep, Battle of the Planets. Yeah, Science Ninja Team. Yeah, Battle of the Planets. Yeah. Anyway. All right. We got to go because I got a dog breathing down my neck right now. Wanting to go outside. Great. Jack, again, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on and answering my questions and telling us a little bit more about yourself. And we look forward to your projects, in the future. And in all the good stuff that you're going to be, hopefully, we'll see some good stuff on your channel coming up soon, I'm sure. You got any videos in the works or are you just kind of winging it right now?
I wasn't able to film this week, sadly, but I do have some that I haven't uploaded yet that I will be uploading. So, yeah, more toy reviews.
Cool. And again, everybody, his link is in the description for the stream. So go over there and subscribe to his channel. Ring the all notification bell so that you get all notifications to his videos and streams. And again, thank you everybody for coming out. watching and listening, and all your questions and everything, your participation in the chat. Really appreciate it. And again, thank you, Jack. And good night, everybody, and have a great weekend.
Night, everyone.
See you.